welcome to Podro Pascal, the podcast where we go through the filmography of actor Pedro Pascal. I am your host, Rachel Leishman. My co-host, Catrina Dennis, could not be here with us this week, but we have a wonderful, lovely, I guess, I was going to say guest, but I guess she's my co-host this time around. Candace, tell the people all about yourself.
I'm Candace. I am a major geek. I run the Geeky Waffle Network, and we're a collection of a bunch of different podcasts, which Rachel has guest on a couple of them. So just all worlds colliding.
I almost made your normal Andor podcast into the late night because I was talking about kyber crystals for too long.
I'm really glad you weren't on this week's podcast.
Oh, listen, this is not an Andor podcast. I was going to say that up front. However, this will come out in plenty of time. If you haven't seen Andor, I guess skip for like 5 minutes or whatever. But an Andor spoiler. He shows up shirtless in that episode, and I was on my couch at like 8:30 in the morning, yelling, just screaming. And then he walked on the beach, and I went, "Hot!" as loud as possible.
You know what? Yeah, they say there's no Easter eggs or cameos. His chest had a cameo. You know,
I was literally. I think it just took me by surprise because it's Star Wars, and like we've had like the hotness of Star Wars isn't well. Okay, Maggie and Arzu would kill me if I was like, no one's been shirtless when Kylo Ren was. But like,
also Anakin Skywalker, Revenge of the Sith,
that was my
Attack of the Clones.
Wait, that was a life changing.
Yeah, that was life. Yeah, like
it was Revenge of the Sith when he gets up in the bed.
Girls everywhere had some awakenings then.
I guess more recently it hasn't like let me be real shirtless and hot has not been in the canon. So I saw that and I was like, we're gonna need to include this some more.
Yeah, it's not like Marvel that has to have a shirtless scene. Yeah. And sometimes it's just like so pointless. Like I remember like Thor, I think it was the Dark World or Dark Elf.
No, it was Dark World.
Okay. How memorable this thing is. It was just him bathing for like 30 seconds. And I'm like, this is so random.
Yeah, well, and it's like Marvel has those moments where it's like Captain America flexes as he pulls a plane down. You're like, this is just for me. I don't know what this has to do with the plot. But like, and also like you can tell it wasn't Marvel because Diego Luna had chest hair, which I've made it my personality to point out that they make the men of Marvel wax their chests, with the exception of Mark Ruffalo.
This is so spoilery for Andor, like insane.
Yeah, so spoilery. Diego Luna has chest hair. Well,
it's also weird because he's always like in so many layers.
Yeah, he had a poncho on for like 4 weeks. Just like in a poncho, and now he's like, I'm shirtless on a beach town or beach planet, I guess. Town. Catrina's not here, but she had a great tweet about it today where she did the Miami song by Will Smith, but it was about the planet that Andor's on. So go check that one out. So that'll be Catrina's contribution to this episode. That was a great tweet about Andor. And this is the Pedro Pascal. But yes, so listen, it was you get to experience our right at the top of the show. We did go on a tangent.
Yes.
But there isn't much news. There were like some more Last of Us trailers and some new footage, but there wasn't like news about Pedro Pascal recently. He's just been kind of living his life. Yeah, he's booked and busy. He's filming stuff. He's moving around. He's doing things. So, like, happy for him. He watched Candyman, I think. I think that's... He tweeted about it, and I was like, does this mean that you watched Nia DaCosta's Candyman? You're a year late, but, like, congrats. Movie rules. It's great.
He's busy.
I can't say the name of that movie too many more times, so I'm not going to say the name of that movie anymore. But that movie... that Nia DaCosta made, which was based on a movie that I think is from the 80s.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's a continuation of it, but I think the first one of the movie I cannot name because if you say it 5 times, he shows up and I'm good, was from the 80s. And he watched that because he tweeted, and I was like, good, great. I hope you had a great time.
He's getting through his 2021 movie list.
Yeah. Bruh, if you want to watch more of Yaya, watch Watchmen. I don't know what you haven't. Hey, Pedro, if you're listening to this, you should also watch Ambulance for Yaya. And as I just said, Watchmen. Watchmen's a great television show. But yeah, so there's not much news, which famous last words, because I'm going to say that, and then before this episode comes out, he's going to have, like, I don't know, ran over a dog or something in the news.
No, he's going to rescue a dog. That's right. What he would do. That's what Pedro would do.
Rescue him. Yes, he would. He'd be like, hello, a puppy. But yeah. But what Candace has asked us to watch is a pilot that really hurts my soul because it's multiple things that I love with my whole heart. I just realized I don't have my ring on, and that's good. This pilot doesn't deserve my Wonder Woman ring that I wear all the goddamn time. Because normally, right here, I have my little Wonder Woman diadem, which is why I have my tattoo there. I can't point to it on there. This pilot, though, doesn't deserve my love for a Wonder Woman.
This is like if Wonder Woman was evil. Honestly.
It is. Okay, not to compare Andor to this Wonder Woman pilot, but Mon Mothma and Andor is like, girl boss, I'm a bad bitch, except like this most recent episode was like, really boss bitch Mon Mothma, and I loved it by the end. But like this whole time she's been like that kind of girl boss energy, and you're like, oh, I mean, I guess you need that in the rebellion, but it does kind of feel weird because we know Mon Mothma after the fact, not how she got to the position she is in the rebellion later on. But it works with the setting and the stakes versus like Diana Prince boss bitch from this pilot.
Diana, who has 3 different identities.
Yeah, why?
She's Wonder Woman. She's Diana Themyscira, right? And then she's also, her secret identity is Diana Prince.
Yeah, that's right. Because it was like, they know the Themyscira. It's like, they added unnecessary lore and like maybe they were trying to be like, no, this is different than the Linda Carter television show, but then it's all the same characters except that she has more chemistry with Pedro than fucking Steve Trevor.
Which I mean, can you blame her? It's Pedro Pascal.
I mean,
he has chemistry with a puppet.
Yes. No, I can't blame her. But as a Wonder Trev like super fan, like I love them with my whole heart. I was like, you're really like, this show is bad. And like maybe it's just because they cast. I'm so sorry, this man. You might have been good as the show went on, but the guy who plays Steve is just like a wet rag. And I don't like. I have not an interest, and so it ruins Steve Trevor for me.
There's absolutely no chemistry between the two. It feels like there's one scene that's a flashback of them, and she's like, we got to break up because I'm going to go be a hero and I can't risk it. And it's like they're talking to a wall, or they're talking to like the bread that's on the table. Like, there's nothing to it.
No, and like you said before we started recording, that like this show is not old enough for it to be as bad as it is. Yes. Like if I watched this and it was like, this was a 2004 attempt, I would have been like, yeah, that reads as 2004. But like for network television, at the point that this show came out or was trying to come out, there had already been so many network shows that were like game changing and pushing boundaries that this feels like so dated.
So many steps back.
Yeah, and it's 11 years old.
Yeah, and okay, so this is written by David E. Kelly, who is most famous for Ally McBeal. So he's like, stuck in the 90s. It feels like stuck in the 90s, what he thinks a woman is.
But even Ally McBeal is like good in comparison to
that's
this.
True.
I think he just like, well, because Ally McBeal is as much 90s. As like it's the 90s, but as much as the She-Hulk writers were like, oh, we've never watched it, but like the vibe is, I guess, Ally McBeal. It is very Ally McBeal. So like, kudos to you guys who haven't watched the show, but it is very McBeal in the sense that it is like a woman who is like a lawyer but also a mess, where that doesn't correlate when you have Diana Prince or Diana Themyscira. Like it doesn't work, because the whole idea of Wonder Woman is that she, in the eyes of men, is this perfect being. And so they're like, oh, she's just beautiful, she can't do anything. And then when she comes and kicks your ass and like uses the lasso of truth, you're like, oh.
Okay, cool. Can we talk about the lasso of truth?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so this is an unedited pilot, so there are like a lot of things like skylines are missing and things like that, which is understandable because this is just out to the network. The lasso is just a piece of rope that is, I think, spray paint golden. But okay, so there's a point where she's trying to get information from this man who was injured after she like freaking reeled him in like a fish in the middle of like LA.
Which is not how the lasso works.
Yeah, that's not how the lasso works, but she literally lassoed him. But so then she's going and she has to sneak off to like interrogate him. And she's like, this is the lasso of truth. And he's like, I'm not going to tell you anything. And then she's like, this is your hand and I'm going to break it. So she tortures him for information.
She has the lasso of truth.
That's why I'm saying she's an evil Wonder Woman who gets off
on punishing people.
She murders so many people, Rachel.
And listen, I know Wonder Woman murders. She's not Batman. She's not Daredevil, even though those two for sure kill people and pretend they don't, but they do. Those guys are dead. Like, she doesn't have that, and so she like does murder, and it's fine. But her whole thing is that she's about truth, which is why she has the lasso of truth, so that she can, like, you know, bring beauty and truth to the world. And if you don't use it as a lasso of truth, you're just using it because whips are fun for women to have for the male gaze. Like, that is what it boils down to.
Oh, like, that's a good segue, Rachel. The male gaze.
And I was about to say, like, it is a mutual thing, because, like, obviously we as women, or I at least do, think Indiana Jones with his whip.
Yeah.
I guess you would call it a lasso. I don't know. It's a whip. Like, that's hot. But like, this is like, again, it is the male gaze that Wonder Woman fights that gaze in a lot of ways. Yeah. By like showing it and then being like, just kidding, LOL, I'm using it to make you tell me the truth.
And something I always loved, like, growing up with Wonder Woman, especially like animation wise, is what I originally like got to know her in the 90s, was like, she empowered me as a girl. Mm-hmm. I did not feel empowered by this woman. I still feel empowered watching like Captain Marvel, She-Hulk, and other female superheroes. Even in my 30s, I get that feeling again where I'm like, oh my God, this is so cool.
Like, a good testament, like Miss Marvel is a perfect example of like a character who is, I am significantly older than now, but I felt empowered. I'm like, oh my God, look, like, this little geek gets to be nerdy and be a superhero. Like, that was that is a testament to making an empowering woman and making her universal. And like, She-Hulk, while like people have criticisms of She-Hulk because they're like, she's a white woman who at the end went to talk to the manager. I'm like, that's literally not what happened. She's in charge of her own show.
Yeah, she's
like, it wasn't her talking
to the
manager. Yeah, it was like, you're just making a joke out of something that, like, it's bigger than that. Whatever. That I felt empowered, because I was like, oh, it's a woman in her 30s who doesn't know what she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's really cool, because normally it's like people are 30 and have 4 kids, and I'm like, hello, I got a cat.
Yeah, no, it's She-Hulk, and as like a woman in her 30s, lost in a mess. I really appreciate that. And then Miss Marvel, like a South Asian representation finally. Whenever I see her on the Marvel logo, at the beginning of things, I get a little teary-eyed, because I'm like, there's my girl. There's my girl. But yeah, there's nothing to this. It's like what a middle-aged man thinks a woman is like, because as Diana Prince, she has bangs, she wears glasses, she goes home to her cat, Sylvester, and she watches The Notebook while eating chips.
Also, that is so, like, that reads to me like Bridget Jones. And Bridget Jones was the early 2000s. So to your point that he's stuck in the 90s, I was like, that, like, I'm going to go home and watch The Notebook. First of all, Notebook rules. So that's not like a sad woman thing. That's just
this taste.
People like The Notebook. It's like, Notebook rules. But this is, I'll just already set it up as a tangent. When I do Framed all the time, and when the image for The Notebook popped up, and it was literally just like, looked like a sunset, but it just looked like a red filter over a lake with the seagulls, I instantly was like, that's The Notebook. I got it in like just that frame. I was like, I don't need anything else. I know the opening sequence of The Notebook like the back of my hand.
But it feels very cliche to be like,
but it is. It's like, it is, like I said, it's the Bridget Jones, like, I just haven't watched these movies, and I'm like, first of all, you're diminishing that film and the impact it had on people by making it the sad, lonely girl movie. But you're also like, we've done this.
Yeah, it's been done.
It's back to.
It was already out for like 7 years by now. So it's like a very old, like.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah.
Going back to both the male gaze and what you were saying about empowering, I want to talk about her outfit because it makes zero sense. I have to get an image of her like normal Wonder Woman outfit, but here is the outfit that happens at the start of this. We'll call it a sequence of events, because it's not really an episode of television. It's chaos. So here's Diana Prince on Hollywood Boulevard, because Los Angeles exists in the world of DC Comics, in a pair of pants that have like a Han Solo and blood stripe down the side of stars.
Right. They're tight like Han Solo's pants too.
They're tight. This lasso of truth, as you said, is literally rope because it is sticking straight out on the side. Yeah. And her like corset is so tight, it looks like tape almost.
Yeah, it looks like, how people would make like duct tape dresses? That's what it reminds me of.
That's what it looks like. And
also, I have this, okay, when I see women like, or anyone wearing these like tube tops, things like that, I get this irrational fear, like, because like whenever I wear something like that, I'm worried I'm going to fall out of them. So I like have fear for them, watching them jump around and run and do all these kind of things. And it's just like, she's barely in there. They're pushed all the way up, and just like, that's uncomfortable.
Like, and here's another one of her running with the rope. It is literally just rope on this.
That has been spray paint gold.
Yeah, that's why it's sitting, and her diadem is so bad too. This is where I'm becoming a Wonder Woman snob, because I'm I'm pulling up Wonder Woman costumes just to compare, like, so like, first, while I'm doing this, like the pants. The reason that she is in pants, I feel, I can't confirm, I don't remember what they said at the time. Probably something to what I'm about to, like, to the like of what I'm about to say. But the idea is that it is empowering to have her in a pair of pants. To which I say, in what world is this look empowering? She is still, sorry for the quote I'm about to say, but she is still titties out, running around in a corset and tight pants.
Okay, and this is the most ironic thing. Okay, so the way the company that she owns makes money is by making Wonder Woman dolls. Apparently, they make millions.
That's right. Yeah.
And she gets angry at a prototype of the doll, and she says, "You can't merchandise my tits."
Yeah.
And like, it's like, that's what the show is literally doing. Like the irony.
It is bad. Like, okay, and so here is the full suit. Just to set the scene. So underwear, still the tape, but she wears the full suit. It's not, and also, why are the bangles silver? I just now realized her bangles are silver.
Yeah, I didn't notice that either with the lighting.
And like, I have Gal Gadot's on here, and I'll show that hers are also silvery, but they flow with the rest of it. Mm-hmm. Where this is so starkly different between gold that the silver sticks out like a sore thumb. Oh my god, those are horrible. And like
the light reflects off the red at the top. That's not good to have when you're filming constantly with lights.
No, and like, I'm also like, the thing is, there is no reason that they should be that way. Like, if you look back at, this is Linda Carter. If you look back at Linda Carter, those are gold. Mm-hmm. Those are the golden red. The diadem that she has on her head is the ring I was talking about. It's that diadem. And then if you look at hers, they were like, what if we turn it upside down? It just pointed down instead, which is, in their defense, is what ends up happening with the Wonder Woman that is now in the DCEU, but her whole costume is just better. So like, here, again, here's Linda. I guess hers is still, you know, here are my boobs, I'm in underwear, as was the Wonder Woman of the old days. The pants situation, I don't understand if that was supposed to be like feminism, she wears pants, because like, here is how you can make this costume look like armor, make it make sense, and also still be the iconic Wonder Woman look, and you don't have to have pants with stars down the side of them.
Yeah, and it's still hot if there's like, they're looking for that too.
Yeah,
you know, it's still, she's still gorgeous in it. So
yeah, and this is like, this movie also has like Wonder Woman. I'm talking about, not Wonder Woman 1984. We'll eventually get to that movie. I'm talking about Wonder Woman 2017. This movie also has like the dress where Diana, it has like the blue dress on, and then she has the God Killer in her back, and like, or she has like her whole little like fur coat thing when she's running to see a baby. Like, she has so many looks that are fully covering her body, but you still understand Wonder Woman's power because she is this tall, beautiful Amazon that people are just drawn to. And then again, she'll kick your ass. Like, part of the allure of Wonder Woman, but I don't understand making her like feminism. It reads Joss Whedon to me. And full offense to Joss Whedon, because if you've ever read his Wonder Woman script, that is what it reads like. Have you ever read that shit show of a script?
No, but I've like read excerpts or snippets.
So Steve Trevor is basically the hero of that story, and so I was angry because, you know, I love Steve Trevor, and he's the hero of the story, and it's all about how he like teaches Diana how she can be like, sort of what happens in the Patty Jenkins movies. However, it is never a question of whether or not Diana can do something. It is simply that she is trying to understand how the world of man works, and Steve is her guide through it, which is, you know, how it exists in the comics and in the Linda Carter show, and probably would have attempted in this thing. But like, it was like, no, Steve Trevor is like, you can't do that, you're a woman, and would do something. And I'm like, this woman threw a fucking tank through a wall, and you just said you can't do that, you're a woman? Okay. But this pilot is like the middle ground of like a good Wonder Woman story, and then that Joss Whedon, like, it's like,
it's not offensive. Yeah. Okay, so like her main villain, can we talk about the main villain? Yes. Is Veronica Cale, which I don't know if Cale had really been popular at that time.
I was about to be like, not yet, but then it's 2011, so maybe.
Yeah. And she's played by Elizabeth Hurley. It gave me really like Catwoman and Sharon Stone, like Halle Berry, like vibes of like, Elizabeth Hurley plays a supplements company owner. Yeah. Again, also very She-Hulk, with, you know, they have to deal with like supplements and beauty supplies apparently.
I guess.
Okay, this is what drives me nuts. Okay, so Wonder Woman's for truth, justice, and the American way, right? That's like That's her saying, and they keep saying it. She holds a press conference and accuses Veronica Cale of horrible things. And the press is like, what proof do you have? And she's like, I got nothing. She has nothing. I'm like, that's a slander, liable, whatever the word is for the
she can
spoken
get
one.
sued. She could
get sued so many times.
Defamation? Is it just defamation?
I think so.
Defamation of character or whatever. I just watched all of She-Hulk. I'm not.
Yeah, you're a lawyer now, right?
Yeah.
And Pedro Pascal plays Ed. He's like a detective, and he's worried. Because she's
working with. Why is she working with the cop? Like, I listen. I understand how television works, and I understand that they probably were like, you can have a Wonder Woman show. The rest of the Justice League isn't going to be in it. So I understand that they're probably like, well, we gotta find ways for her to work with people. I don't think having Diana Prince work with the cops is the move.
Then she has to have dinner with a senator who's played by Rory Gilmore's grandfather from Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
To talk about how she doesn't work for the cops.
But she does.
Yeah, but like if she does, then anything that the cops get as evidence with her, they can't use in court. So all those people go free because it's something like a poisonous tree. I don't know, some legal term. I'm not a lawyer. # not a lawyer. Like,
I forget what it was. But
but they can't use it. Maybe in this universe they can. But like, she's putting so much things in jeopardy, and there's a reason that there are laws.
Wait, I have a theory. Do you think that the David E. Kelley watched Psych and he said, they do it all the time, this is fine, and just was like, applied that to Wonder Woman?
Yeah, she breaks into multiple places. She's
a villain.
There's a scene where a security guard, who, you know what, is probably just trying to, make some money for his family, working the night shift. And he's like, okay, crazy lady in spangled shorts is attacking everyone. And she throws a pipe and it goes through his neck and he's dead.
Yeah, like, she, as you said, is a villain. She murders people. And it's like, look, I understand that the Gal Gadot version of Wonder Woman is like I love beauty, I love
babies, ice cream.
Like, yay, babies, ice cream. And she's not like I'm going to break Max Lord's neck. Like, I understand that is a different version of Wonder Woman. And I like all versions of Wonder Woman. I don't mind that version. So I'm like, I'm into this, whatever. However, this one is not the one that will break Max Lord's neck. Because, like, she has morals that she holds up to. Like I said, she's not like Batman and Daredevil who pretend like they don't murder people. Like, she will do it when the time is right.
But she's
not that person who just murders a security guard.
In any comics or like the animated shows that I watched as a kid, I felt like she was always justified in her actions.
Huh?
And she knew best. She wasn't just randomly killing people who she could have just disarmed because she's obviously 1,000 times stronger than them. Like, there was no need for that.
No, and I think the show really does a disservice to the character by, I think those moments are meant to establish, like, look at how strong and badass she is, and she's willing to do what it takes. And I'm like, that's not what that does. That is literally murder. She just murdered a man who, like you said, probably has a whole ass family, or at least a cat that needs him to come feed. So, like, it's doing a disservice to Wonder Woman and makes you not like her because you're like, she just murdered people. Like, why did she do that? And, like, I guess, sure, you could have a commentary that, like, how come men can just murder people and be heroes? They can, and so can women. But Wonder Woman is not that character. And it is just telling me that David E. Kelley had never in his life seen a damn Wonder Woman thing.
He saw some photos of Linda Carter, and that's it. He's like, okay, I could do that.
Well, just like you said, the 3 different identities. I'm like, no, she's Diana. And also changing Diana into, like, a mogul is such a weird choice. Because it's like, no, her whole thing is that, like, she's been around a really long time. She, like, knows history and knows beauty and art and stuff. because she's been there because she
Yeah.
is a demigod.
But they're acting like, oh, she's a 20-something who's like a girl bossing,
No. No matter what, she's been around longer than 20 years. She just looks like she's 20 years old.
Okay, but Pedro Pascal, I don't know how he does it, but he was great in this.
But he's not in it enough. That is the thing, is like, I would have had this come out and I would have watched it in 2011. I'd have been like, who's that guy? I want to know more about that guy.
Yeah, I'm like, he's pretty.
Yeah, and instead it would have been like, I would like to learn more about this man and his deal. And they would be like, how about you learn about the moguls? And I'm like, I'm good. I don't care about Wonder Woman industry where she makes toys or whatever they call, like, that doesn't make any sense. I'm like, how does that relate to Wonder Woman? You just wanted her to have a job, but I guess thought her working in a museum would have been boring.
They say even like, oh, you designed your costume to sell toys. So she is promoting herself.
It's even worse than
she's merchandising the idea of herself.
So she bitched about her boobs, but she's the designer.
That's what Candy says. Is like, hey, you chose this outfit specifically so we could sell these toys so we could fund buying crime fighting equipment for you, which means they are making freaking crime fighting things, which I mean, I know Bruce Wayne Enterprises does it too, but I feel like they don't know Batman's involved there.
No, but that's what this feels like, is that they were like, well, why can't she be like Batman? It's like, because she's not Batman. No. She is a different character.
But then they were also trying to make her be like, oh my God, hashtag girl life, she lives alone. She tried to make a Facebook page, and on this Facebook, it's like you list your friends, that she can only list her cat. And I'm like, one, Facebook was not like that. Two, she has nobody needs to know who your friends are.
My friend is my cat, Sylvester. Well, and it's just like, I don't know. The mistakes that were in this, it is, I don't disagree that they were just like, we cannot finish this, because it is just, every choice that is made in this pilot is bad. There's not one, other than the casting of Pedro Pascal and like Adrian Padalecki, or I'm sorry, not Padalecki, Adrian Padalecki, like, looks great. Would look like a wonderful Wonder Woman. I love her in the other superhero properties that she has been in.
Do you know she has 3 failed superhero pilots?
Well, yeah, because wasn't there one for
the spinoff of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Yeah.
And Aquaman. She was in the Aquaman. That was like a Smallville spinoff. She was in that.
Amira?
I don't know. She was like a barkeeper, tender or something in there, but she was like friends with Arthur. So she's been in 3 failed pilots.
I mean, she's fine now. She's on the Orville having the best time of her life. But like, and she was in Supernatural. And I'll never forget. But yeah, there's just like, from the top, just bad decisions were made. But then the casting wasn't bad, because we were talking before, Cary Elwes is in this show.
I know, and he does his American accent, which is so much better than it was when he did Seinfeld in the 90s. Because I remember watching.
I really forget that he is not American.
He was doing great, and honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I thought maybe he would turn out to be a surprise villain at the end, because he has a swoopy hair.
That would make it so you would have to actually have a good premise for the show, and plan things.
Yeah,
because like you brought up Elizabeth Hurley, that vibe. I'm sorry to go back to Ally McBeal, but gives the same vibe to me as Calista Flockhart in Supergirl, except that makes more sense and it works. And it's like, that character, even though she's mean to Kara, and like you know that she's a mean boss, it's like, oh yeah, but I like her. This show doesn't have that. Like, it's just like, the archetypes are so clearly like, and this person's bad And Wonder Woman's great, even though she murdered a man for no damn reason. And I'm just like, what? Why? Was there not a woman on the goddamn writing staff?
Looking at the IMDb, no. No.
Oh, unsurprising. It is very much in the vein of the era of like Joss Whedon girl bosses. Even though he didn't do this, but
yeah, but it's the idea of what people think women want to see and what's empowering, and it's just, I don't know why they got David E. Kelly to do this, because this is not in his wheelhouse at all.
what? Maybe they were like maybe they saw Alan McBeal, were like, you can write women.
Yeah, you get women. Sure, put a dancing baby in there. We'll be great.
Do some karaoke. Get Jane Krakowski to show up. Robert Downey Jr. can sing on a piano. But yeah, it was just like there's nothing, and it's also one of those shows where like clearly you can tell when I checked out because I was like, I don't remember that. Oops. Like it literally like nothing stays with you. So if I had watched this pilot, even as someone who I love Wonder Woman, if I had watched this pilot, I would have been like, oh yeah, that's a show. Great. I forgot. I watched one episode of it. Like it's not remarkable.
Oh, that reminds me of something else. Oh, in the press conference, she's like, okay, so there's these supplements that are like drugs, and there's really bad side effects, and they're testing them on high school athletes. And Wonder Woman goes, and all these students are in the ghetto. And I was like, underprivileged area.
Yeah, like, again, it's 2011, so it's not like this was 2002, which you still would have been like, but it's 2002. It's what people say. But yeah, this was way too recent. I am taking a drink of my tea, so I will stop to promote Candace's shop because she sent me this beautiful mug that says, Pedro is such a slut, as quoted by Oscar Isaac at New York Comic-Con.
And I love how John Bodega's like jealous. He's like, well,
John Bodega was like, you asshole. Yes, guys, this, again, I'm just gonna gas up Candace for a second. If you guys haven't, and then we'll get back to this pilot. I'll put the link in the thing, and you can find Candace because she'll talk about herself later. But you should go to her shop. It's great. She made me my shirt that is in this picture here that says my allegiance is to the Republic, to democracy, and it has Obi-Wan Kenobi on it so that I can meet Hayden Christensen. She also made me wonderful shirts for my dad's celebration of life, and they were perfect. They looked exactly like a shirt my dad used to have. She sent me this cup because right after that, I met Oscar Isaac, and she goes, "Did you get to hear that?" And I went, "No, I had to be in line." And so then I got a mug that said, "Pedro is such a slut," and she's great.
And it's true. It's true. So it has to be.
You made the Hawkeye mug too, didn't you? Because you were in like a list.
Oh my God, that went everywhere. That went viral. And that was a very stressful holiday season where I'm screaming at the USPS, like tracking to be like, move. It was Kylo Ren.
I'll walk it there myself.
It's like, you said you could do this. Do not lie to me. Please do not lie to me.
You see the plan. You're like, get that piece of junk.
I was like, I can run faster and deliver this.
But yeah, go follow Candace when she says herself. We'll do that later. I was thirsty, so I wanted to talk about the mug while I was thirsty. But back to the pilot, which is that.
It's a mess.
It's a mess, and I want to have fun for a second because we talked about all the bad stuff. So here's 2 questions I want to pose to you. First question. If this show continued, where do you think it would have gone?
So at the end, Steve Trevor comes back. He works for the DOJ, I think it is. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, I'm investigating you. And he's like, oh, by the way, I just moved to LA. And then Diana sees he has a wedding ring and he's married. Ooh, tension. And you're like, I don't care. She's going to get with Pedro Pascal because who else would she like? Pedro Pascal is right there. But anyway, yeah. So they're probably going to make the wife and horrible person somehow or fridge her, you know?
She's a villain. I hope
Yeah.
she's a straight up villain. Which we
Yeah.
will never know, but I hope she would have been a straight up villain.
It's just like this unnecessary tension and be like, how long have you guys been apart? He's already married. Like, it reminded me of like when Riley came back to Buffy like a year and a half later with a wife.
And I am still in the Riley era. I'm watching it for the first time.
Oh,
and
okay.
I just started back today, and so I'm still in the Riley
Sorry.
era.
Spoiler alert.
Listen, I deserve to get spoiled, but I do ship Giles and Spike. And I stand by that.
The British boys.
I ship it. Yeah. I can't harp on her being in LA. That doesn't make any goddamn sense. I will say this, and everyone in the internet, you can use my little quote whenever you want. The DC universe has fake cities. Sometimes they use real cities, like Diana was in Paris. It happens. But the major cities that they are in are fake. Diana is from the Mascara. It's not real. Bruce Wayne lives in Gotham. It's not real. Clark Kent lives in first Smallville and then Metropolis. Neither are real. The Barry Allen is in something city. No, it's Star Labs.
Paradise?
No, it's Star Labs. And hold on. Central City. I was like, it's something city. It's Central City. Like, the main thing is that their cities don't exist. So, like, setting this in LA is truly, I was like, why?
I think it's because of money, probably.
Made it up. But you could have just made up a name.
Yeah, just CGI'd some, you know, LA names and landmarks out a little bit, you know?
I don't even care. You could have kept all that. Just be like,
yeah, because Gotham is very much like New York.
Gotham in The Dark Knight Rises is Pittsburgh. They're at Heinz Field. And I can see that it is Heinz Field. And I'm like, it's Gotham. Like, you can suspend disbelief. Yeah. Just tell me that it's called the Mascara. And I'd be like, great, I'm in. I don't care. Nope. Anyways, sorry, I'm off my soapbox. It just doesn't make any sense.
What do you think?
Question. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
What do you think would have happened? Do you think Elizabeth Hurley would have been like a main villain throughout the thing?
Probably. I don't remember Elizabeth Hurley's like marital status, but I wouldn't be surprised if she ended up being Steve Trevor's wife.
Yeah, no, that could work.
Like that is the kind of thinking that the show would do, where it's like, yeah, we've established this woman's evil. He's married. Next episode, this is my wife, and it's
drama.
Victoria Kale or whatever her name is. Like that wouldn't surprise me. I do think she would have made Steve Trevor jealous with Podro Pascal, but I didn't trust him completely, so I feel like he would have turned on Diana at some point. And I don't trust him because I don't trust the Raiders, and that's the baseline of it. So I think it would have been bad, and not a fun bad, just bad.
Yeah, parts of it was just like insane that you had to watch, but then the other parts were just boring.
Yep. And so my second question for you: how would you fix this pilot?
Rewrite the whole freaking thing.
Just start from scratch.
Start all over. No offense to Adrian, I don't think I would cast her. Honestly,
you need a different director, because the director very clearly did not know how to work with her.
Yeah, she I've seen her in other things and she's great, but she just was very wooden in this.
I wonder if she knew it was bad.
Yeah, probably could tell, like, with the writing and stuff like that. It just, like, even like Carrie was okay, but he's just charming in general, and same with Pedro. He's great. And Elizabeth Hurley was just hamming it up because she was just embracing that, so it worked.
I feel like no one was on the same page.
Yeah, like, everyone was different.
It's like they all brought, and no one was like, hey, here's the vibe we're going for. They're like, nah, bring your own vibe. Everyone figure it out.
Yeah, I think making her, have a double life, but just be like, not a triple life, double life, have her be Diana Prince and Wonder Woman. And having to keep those two separate, have her have a regular job, maybe in a museum, maybe, I don't know, working for the Air Force or something, military, like the Linda Hamilton, not Linda Hamilton,
Linda Carter.
I'm just saying badass woman,
But that would, just list that as them. I mean, that would make sense, because then it would make sense why she would be working with the detectives, working with Steve. Like, it would make sense if she did the more Linda Carter route versus like the Gal Gadot, like working in a museum.
Yeah.
But like, or she could be working in artifact, like whatever it is. Her being a mogul makes no sense.
No, and she doesn't need a bunch of crime fighting equipment like Batman because she has powers. Also, I would make her jet invisible. What the hell? I could see that jet the entire time.
Well, listen, are we ever going to, other than Linda Carter's, are we ever going to get a modern day invisible jet that makes goddamn sense?
Didn't we get that with 1984?
Finally, but it was
very briefly.
It was like her learning, and so she turned the jet invisible to her and Steve were in.
Oh yeah, so it was, but and it wasn't her. It was an invisible plane.
She stole a plane and turned it invisible, and he was like,
"See, okay, those kind of crimes." There's other kinds of crimes in 1984 that aren't great, but that one where like them stealing the plane, it doesn't really hurt anyone.
Yeah, she does crime.
It's justified in a way. Like, you can understand it and be like, okay, you're still a hero with that crime.
Murdering a man in cold blood.
Yeah.
Not so much.
Just straight up, like, attacking someone and freaking, like, putting, like, the rope around their neck is very, like, there were a lot of neck snappings.
Which someone watched Bax's Lord die and went, I got this.
One of the scenes, the scenes at the end when she's fighting all like the security and muscle heads, they're a bunch of storage containers, and she smushes 2 storage containers with a guy in the middle.
Yeah,
like, these are just terrible ways to die.
Yeah, no. She literally said, I'm gonna kill you.
Mm-hmm. She's like, murder's on the table.
And like, maybe that's empowering to some, but I don't really need to see.
It feels
in cold blood murder, like justified murder. Go right ahead. In cold blood murder, I'm great.
It's just when they're the lackeys, and also when there's such a power, the power's not even. Like, if it was a power match and she killed the person who could have hurt her, that's understandable. Like, in defense, we're getting to this morality thing, but like these men were like so not even like a tenth of her power.
She should have done the like Spider-Man and like often Wonder Woman thing of like tying them up with the last one, just putting them somewhere and then continuing what she needed to do, but didn't do that.
No.
It's bad.
Yeah, Elizabeth Hurley's character calls her out on it, and then she just lassos
her. This pilot is bad. Here's what we learned today. This pilot is bad. Candace's story is great. And now we're going to go on to my favorite section of the podcast. Candace has to hear me sing. Hold on. Stash, 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 stash. The stash on everybody's lips is gonna be Pedro's. It is time for Stash of the Week, where we just show our favorite pictures of Pedro Pascal and his stashes. And since this episode has been mainly us talking about Wonder Woman and little about actual Pedro Pascal, this is our time to shine. So, Candace, I'm going to pull your picture up if you want to tell the listeners and viewers why you've picked this beautiful, beautiful picture.
I just love them so much together. And I think they're neat. And they're silly. And honestly, Oscar Isaac is right. Pedro's a slut.
Yeah. He is a slut. He's holding, like, so close. Oscar nailed it. It is a picture, for anyone who's listening, of Oscar Isaac and Pedro Pascal, where Pedro Pascal is literally just hanging over Oscar Isaac.
Yeah. It's so cute.
And then where was mine? I picked this nice cozy boyfriend looking picture where he was at a dinner. I think this was the dinner that had like Kathy Bates. I saw the video and it was like such a weird collection of celebrities. People were like, why are they all there together? But this is from that video, I think. And he looks just like a cozy little boyfriend.
Yeah, he's having a great time.
Yeah, I love it so much. He's having a really great time. He's cute, sweet, no notes.
And again, Pedro Pascal, every scene he's in that Wonder Woman, like the 3 scenes he's in, he's amazing.
Beautiful.
Like
Great.
I was like, how are you acing this when the writing is so terrible and you have this woman in this set?
Yeah, bad. He was so good. He's
I
not
thought he
in
was
it
going
enough.
to be I thought he was in more of it because everyone was always like, "Oh, Wonder Woman pilot with Pedro Pascal," and I was like, "Oh, this is going to be perfect." And then I was like, "That's all? That's all Pedro get?"
Yeah, they're like, "Here you go. Here's a taste," and then we're canceling it. But yeah,
it's probably for the best because he probably got some better roles. Well, he did get
called
better roles.
Ober and Martell. Ober and Martell came after them. Yeah, not great, but hey, you can't win them all. On that note of this bad pilot, Candace, tell the people where they can find you.
The best place to find all my geeky stuff is to find me on Twitter at Candace is a Geek. My Etsy shop is Upon a Dream Images. And yeah, you can find a bunch of things of like Oscar making fun of Pedro. And things
Pedro
like that.
is such a slut. You should follow all of her stuff. Her podcasts are great.
Oh yeah, geekywaffle.com.
Yep.
That's where you can find all this.
I love Candace's podcasts very, very much. They are the most fun. You can follow me at Rachel Leishman on Twitter. Follow my work at the Mary Sue. And yeah, like, subscribe, tweet about it, talk to your friends. Keep asking Pedro Pascal when he's gonna come on. He knows we exist. And yeah, guys, if you feel the need to watch this pilot, you can go right ahead and do so. It's not that long. It is just a little bit of torture, but Diana Prince would like doing that to you.
Yeah, she would find it fun. She would get off on it like she did.
She'd love it.
Torturing a man.
She'd love it. But on that note, Candace, thank you so much for being my co-host this evening. And until next time, goodbye.